background noise will be soon will stop lah. Okay, wait, last time Noel said we have left some of there are 6 pages that are not covered on on the previous lecture. Yes.
Yeah.
Okay, so I open that lecture first. So today your class, your VB class is finished early, kan?
Tomorrow.
Oh, tomorrow. Oh, okay. Yeah. Okay. Defining string. Okay. So we left the defining string last time. So can you guys see my screen?
Yeah.
Okay. So Noel, without us going through this lecture, and then you just find out, kan? So can you understand? I mean, did you read that that missing or that left out lecture?
Yeah.
Defining array byte, defining string. Oh. Okay, so only defining string lah we left out last time, right?
Oh yeah.
Okay, so we will cover it back. Okay, so when you want to define a string in assembly language, so this is the syntax or the way how we will do it in assembly language lah. Okay, so a string, when it is stored in the computer memory, it will be stored as an array of character. Okay, so so it is usually enclosed with the quotation marks. So this is how it is in quotation marks, and then it often will be null terminated or containing 0. So this is this is the syntax lah. Okay, so a string of this type are used in C, C++, and Java program. So this is how the example of how we declare a string. Okay, so for example, this str1, it says here it is will stored as array of character. So in your memory, each one of character here will have its own address in memory. So it is the same on how the computer store character. So this string also will be stored as character because it will assume each of this character as an one element in an array. Okay, so to continue a single string across multiple lines and each line with comma. Okay, so if you want to declare a multiple line of string, you can put comma. Okay, so this, when you declare it like this, so when you comma it, meaning the words after the comma, um the words after the comma will be in new line. Okay, so end of line character sequence, I mean, we can declare another what, sorry, another what, I forgot the name, another operand, or another operand after your declared character or string. um wait, Noel, sorry guys, all of you, we will get back to this later.
Okay.
Okay, sorry, okay. So actually for this session, we continue to lecture 9. So I focus on lecture 9 previously. So in this lecture 9, we will continue also in assembly language, where we will focus on how assembly language will perform the arithmetic operation. So the arithmetic operation that will be covered in this lesson is multiplication and divisions. But for the shifting and rotating, we will cover this on next session, because it will be I mean, this lecture is a lot lah. So this session we will only cover these two. Um okay, so before we go further on this, um I want you guys to watch this video. Beta.
You understand that 8 binary bits can give you maximum 2 raised to 8 values. 2 raised to 8
Can you
multiplied by 2
guys
raised to
hear
8
the
will
voice?
never be 2 raised to 17. Has to be 2 raised to 16. That is mathematics. So 8 bit multiplied by 8 bit will never be 17 bits. Has to be 16 bits.
Okay.
Simple.
Wait,
AL and BL both are 8 bit registers. Let's take worst case scenario. Worst case, both of them will be FF. They can't be bigger than that. 16 bits. Here's a question. Can the answer be more than 16 bits also? No. We'll put AL over here. Mu P will assume it to be AL as the accumulator. Same lecture in the classroom. If you know your accumulators, you understand these instructions. 885 used accumulator for every operation.
Cannot hear.
Cannot hear.
Okay, so previously it is about adding and subtraction and all of the previous instruction that we have already covered lah. So that's why I just focus on the multiplication and then the divisions in this video. So that's why I'm looking or adjusting the video lah. Okay, so if you guys actually I cannot share this video because if I give you link I actually subscribe this video, so that's why this is not free video kan. So when I give you the link, you need to authenticated lah. Only authorized person yang can watch. So that's why I can only let you guys watch this. Okay, so
We're going to see some powerful instructions. Okay, be ready. The next one, multiply. Things are going to get a little more intense now. Okay, look at multiply. Look at add. Do you see a big difference? You should. In add, can you see there are two operands? In multiply, there is only one operand. Now, you are not allowed to write two operands. When you write multiply, you can write only one register. Now, obviously, you can't multiply only one number. That is absurd. So, there is another operand, but you're not allowed to write it. It is a fixed operand. Such fixed operands are called accumulators. If you learned 8085 before coming to 8086, most people do, some people don't. Bombay University doesn't, they directly put students into 8086 now. But anyways, different universities, different ways of doing it. If you learned 8085 used accumulator for every operation. In 8086, add, subtract, increment, decrement, etc. can work on any register. But complex arithmetic operations like multiply, divide, and a few more on this side are still based on the accumulator. So before we go ahead, let's familiarize ourselves with what is the accumulator. In 8086, there are three accumulators. Okay, get this clear. Just give me 2 minutes, understand this. The rest of the things will become much easier. So in 8086, there are three accumulators. If you want an 8-bit accumulator, if you're doing an 8-bit operation and you need an accumulator, that will be AL. Now, listen carefully. 8-bit accumulator is AL only, not AL or AH. Strictly only AL. 16-bit accumulator is AX, which was obvious. 32-bit accumulator is a combination of two registers, DX and AX. Both are 16 bits each. DX will hold the higher word, AX will hold the lower word. I tell this in my class also when I teach the same lecture in the classroom. If you know your accumulators, you understand these instructions very well. So let's just go through them once again. 8-bit accumulator means AL, 16-bit accumulator AX, 32-bit, DX AX, 16-bit, AX, 8-bit, AL, 16-bit, AX, yeah, good. Now, let's see. Multiply operand. Now, the first instruction. So, we do multiplication in two ways, either 8-bit multiplication or 16-bit. We start with 8-bit. 8-bit multiplication. Example, multiply BL. First of all, look at this instruction and understand this is how you're going to write it. Okay, you cannot write two operands. That is not allowed. When you write multiply, it can only be one register. So, when you write multiply BL, the MUPI looks at this register. Since it is BL, that means it's an 8-bit register. That means MUPI understands you want to do 8-bit multiplication. So it will do AL multiplied by BL. Please tell me, did you understand this? Because you wrote BL, which is an 8-bit register, it will put AL over here. MUPI will assume it to be AL as the accumulator. So it will do AL into BL and will give you your result in go on. AX. Why in AX? Because we are not adding, we are multiplying. When you add two 8-bit numbers, answer is 8 bits. At the most 9 bits, that 9th bit is called a carry. When you multiply two 8-bit numbers, how can the answer be 8 bits? This is multiplication. The answer is going to be much bigger. The answer will be 16 bits. Here's a question. Can the answer be more than 16 bits also? No. Can it ever be 17 bits? No. Why? An 8-bit register can hold maximum 2 raised to 8 values. You understand that 8 binary bits can give you maximum 2 raised to 8 values. 2 raised to 8 multiplied by 2 raised to 8 can never be 2 raised to 17. Has to be 2 raised to 16. That is mathematics. So 8 bit multiplied by 8 bit will never be 17 bits. Has to be 16 bits. Simple. AL and BL both are 8-bit registers. Let's take worst case scenario. Worst case, both of them will be FF. They can't be bigger than that. FF multiplied by FF gives you FE01. Check it out with a calculator if you want to. Like how 9 into 9 gives you 81. So 9 becomes 8 and you get a 1. Same thing but just in a bigger way. Anyway, FFF into FFF will give you FFFE0001. Same idea. If you now love numbers, all these things just come naturally. Anyway. So we'll give you FE01. The point I'm trying to make is FE01 is a 16-bit number. So here is my point. After performing multiplication, please do not try to check for carry. Did you hear what I said? If you do addition in an addition program, if you forget to check for carry, you lose marks because your answer is incomplete. On the other hand, in a multiplication program, if you check for carry, you lose marks because you're checking rubbish. There cannot be a carry in this operation. Are you clear? Never look for carry after multiplication. You already have doubled the size of your answer. It can't be bigger than that. Anyway, so when you do AL multiplied by BL, the answer will come in AX. I hope you have understood this instruction. Yes? Are you clear? Okay, small doubt. If I write multi-H, DH is also an 8-bit register. It will do BH into AL, correct, not AH. It will do BH into AL. And 8-bit accumulator is always AL. It is not a choice between AL and AH. It is only AL. That's the point I was trying to make. Anyway, good. I will again give you a 16-bit answer in AX. Now, if you understood this, I'm limping because this met with an accident. Anyway, when you do 16-bit multiplication, example multi-x. So here we are doing, the moment UP sees that there is BX, UP understands that it's a 16-bit number. So that means you want to multiply two 16-bit registers. It will take the accumulator. Yeah, tell me by yourself. If you understood one, how can you not understand the other one? It will do AX multiplied by BX and will store the result in a combination of dx and ax, where dx will get the higher word and ax will get the lower word. Please tell me, did you understand this? Are 8-bit multiplication and 16-bit multiplication clear? Now, just like you have mul, you have one more instruction called imal. I stands for integer. Integer multiplication. Try to recollect school days, first, second, third, fourth standard, for first 4 years of school education. We thought numbers were only on this side of zero. We saw the scale. That's how we got close to. We started understanding numbers, and they always went from zero onwards ahead. Then when we got into 5th grade, we were introduced to the concept of integers. Try to remember that. The moment you heard integers, you realize, oh my God, there is a whole set of numbers on this side of zero also. You can't see them, but they're also there. They are called negative numbers. So you have positive and negative. So a system which allows both positive and negative numbers, in our subject is called signed system. In general mathematics, that's called integer system. So that imal is integer multiplication. That means this is used when you want to multiply signed numbers. Mul is used when you want to multiply unsigned numbers. Get this clear. Get this clear. Listen. Add, subtract, increment, decrement work on both numbers. The same instruction will work on signed as well as unsigned. The proof is in front of you. 0 minus 1 is minus 1 also. 0 minus 1 is FF also. If you're working in signed system, it is minus 1. If you work in unsigned system, it is FF. Both will give you the same representation. Addition and subtraction in binary form. Do not care whether your numbers are signed or unsigned. They always give the correct answer. I have proved this in the lecture of flag register. I would love to do it again, but then we just be staying the same point again and again. Okay, but in multiplication, I don't know whether you learned the subject called computer organization. If you ever learn that subject, you'll come to know there are different procedures used to multiply signed numbers and unsigned numbers. Is that clear? For unsigned numbers, there is a method called conventional method of multiplication that is used. For signed numbers, there is something called Hooke's algorithm that is used. I would love to explain both of them. I teach that subject also, but that's not a part of this. Then we'll just be deviating from the topic. Just giving you the point. To you as a programmer, it makes no difference, but to the mutie, it makes a difference whether they are signed or unsigned. If you want the correct answer, please tell the mutie to do the correct thing. When you are multiplying, so moral of the story, in the exam, you get a question, write a program to multiply two numbers. Please read the question carefully. It will clearly indicate whether they are signed numbers or unsigned numbers. If the question says to unsigned numbers, please use mul instruction. If the question says signed numbers, use IMUL. Your operands and registers, everything is the same. Just the instruction that you'll be using is IMUL, so that mutie uses a different procedure to multiply them. Is that clear? If nothing is given, it's an open question. Do what you want to, but write clearly, assuming the numbers are so and then use the appropriate instruction. Is that clear? So that is the difference between mul and IMUL. Mul is for unsigned numbers, IMUL is for signed numbers. In classroom, I take two numbers, I multiply them, show the difference. But then that's the difference. Right? In a classroom, we conduct lectures of 3 hours where I can catch every student and get their attention. And here it's a different ball game altogether. So I don't want to tell you things which might just make you look here and there. I'm just sticking to the point. I'm giving you the answer, it's just that I'm not going to elaborate into the explanation. Anyway, so that is the difference between mul and IMUL. Mul is used for unsigned numbers, IMUL is used for signed numbers. Now, division, the reverse of multiplication. Look at this. Just like multiply has one operand, divide also has only one operand. The operand is the divisor. We didn't bother about this while learning multiplication. We didn't care whether this is the multiplicand or the multiplier, because AL into BL and BL into AL will give you the same answer. But in division, 7 divided by 3 and 3 divided by 7 are two entirely different things. So you have to know who is what. What you write over here will be the divisor, and the accumulator will be the dividend. That means it will do accumulator divided by this. As an example, if you write D over here, it will do A divided by B. Is that clear? You want to divide 75 by 12. That's the question you get in the exam. Write a program to divide 75 by 12. Put 75 in the accumulator, put 12 in some register, and write divide that register. Are you clear? It will do accumulator divided by that register. So for the last time, what you write over here will be the divisor and accumulator will be the dividend. Now, another stark difference. Come on, observe. In multiplication, we multiply two equal size numbers. Either we are multiplying two 8-bit numbers or two 16-bit numbers. In division, that's not the case. We are dividing 16-bit by 8-bit or 32-bit by 16-bit, which means we are dividing a bigger number by a smaller number. Now, again, if you just use common sense, this is very obvious, but you use common sense while learning all this. What do you want to do? You want to divide a smaller number by a bigger number or a bigger number by a smaller number? You tell me what you want to do. Obviously, you want to divide a bigger number by a smaller number. If there's anybody who wants to divide a smaller number by a bigger number, I have an advice. Don't divide. Come to me. I'll tell you the answer orally. 3 divided by 7. 0 is the quotient, 3 is the remainder. Why are you trying to divide? The concept of dividing a smaller number by a bigger number is useful when you can get fractional answers. Fractional numbers are called floating point numbers. 8086 does not deal with floating point numbers. Are you listening to what I'm saying? Here we don't get fractions. If you do 7 divided by 2 as an example, 7 divided by 2 is 3.5. But 86 will not give you 3.5. It will give you 3 as the quotient and 1 as the remainder. So you tell me what is 2 divided by 7. Come on. 2 divided by 7. 0 is the quotient, 2 is the remainder. I have 2 apples, I want to give to 7 people. Don't make me break it down so much. They will get nothing, I will still have 2 remaining. So 0 is the quotient, 2 is the remainder. So the point I'm trying to make is, what is 5 divided by 19? 0 is the quotient, 5 is the remainder. Why do you want to divide it? You know the answer even before doing the division. Such divisions only make sense when you can get a fractional answer, which you cannot in 8086. So here, you don't want to divide a smaller number by a bigger number. You want to divide a bigger number by a smaller number. Please tell me, is the point clear? There are 10 ways of making you understand it. I'll try to keep giving you more and more concepts so that you get this down your throat. Why you are doing 16-bit by 8-bit and 32-bit by 16-bit. Students say, so what if I want to divide two equal size numbers? We've understood that yes, we don't want to divide by a bigger number. But what if I want to divide two equal size numbers? Don't get me wrong, I'm not saying two equal numbers. There will be some stupid person in the world who wants to divide two equal numbers. The answer is 1. I'm saying two equal size numbers, like 75 divided by 12. Now both of them are 8-bit. That is absolutely fine. What is wrong in that? Of course you can do it. How do you do it? Write 75 as 16-bit number. Write 75 as 0075. When you write it as 0075 becomes 16 bits, then you can do it as 16-bit divided by 8-bit. Tell me, did you understand? That is common sense. Okay, see. I'm here to teach you the technical stuff. Textbooks will teach you the technical stuff. They don't break it down into so much. There is a lot of common sense expected out of you for you to understand these things by yourself. You want to do 33 divided by 12, there is nothing wrong with that. Write 33 as 0033 and then divided by 12, you're doing 16-bit by 8-bit. Now, if you still don't realize why we are doing 16-bit by 8-bit, I'll give you another approach to understand it. Suppose we do 5 into 2, 5 multiplied by 2, answer is 10, correct? So what is 10 divided by 2?
Guys, when you watch that video, can you catch what is he saying? Yeah, Kelvin, I cannot hear you. I only saw your icon blinking a bit. Okay. See, Kelvin,
I can hear.
I sorry, I cannot hear voice right now. Um, Sorry, Kelvin, what did you said just now? Can you catch what is the guy saying?
Yeah, I can.
Oh, okay lah. Because I'm afraid you guys cannot cannot catch what is he saying. But okay, so if like that, we continue lah.
That means the divide, you use AX divide BL.
Yeah.
Not AL divide BL.
Yeah, actually, whatever he is saying now, we will cover that later also in our slide. But why I want you guys to watch this video, because this guy, he is telling why that is operated like that. In our lecture later, it is only saying what, how to do this. It will only tell about some step lah, but this guy, he is telling why it is like that. So after this division, after he, yes,
Every time we need to do the multiplication, we have to change the AX value, and every time we do the division, do we need to change the AX and
every time. Yeah. So later in our assembly language, we will assign some value to the AX or the divisor later. But you watch this video lah, okay?
yeah, I
So
did. When we do one multiplication, do we have to change? Do we have to change another value before we do another multiplication like that?
sorry, I cannot hear you. Wait,
Never mind.
Okay. Okay, so later you ask after this video.
Fine. What do you understand? Division is the exact reverse of multiplication. Now get the idea. 8-bit multiplied by 8-bit gives you a 16-bit answer. So come on, do the reverse. Come on, it's not that difficult. 16-bit divided by 8-bit will give you an 8-bit answer. Now tell me, did you understand? We did multiply BL. When we did multiply BL, we did AL into BL and the answer came in AX. So what will happen if I do divide BL? It will be the reverse of this. Has to be the reverse of this. So when I write divide BL, it will do AX divided by BL and will give you the answer in AL. Please tell me, now is this clear? So div BL, it will do AX divided by BL will give you the answer in AL and AH. Why AL and AH? Because I said you will get two answers. You won't get a fraction over here. You get a quotient and a remainder. So 16-bit divided by 8-bit will give you an 8-bit quotient and an 8-bit remainder. Are you listening? Now, out of quotient and remainder, who will go in which register? Some students tend to by heart this, memorize this. You don't need to. This subject is made using pure logic. Follow logic, follow your mind, and you will get the answers automatically. Tell me, quotient and remainder. Out of the two, which is more important as an answer? What is the first thing you want to know? What's the main answer of division? The quotient. AL and AH. Who is the main register? Who is the main accumulator? AL. So it is obvious that the main register will get the main answer and the leftover will go into the leftover register. Are you understanding my point? These are not created by doing a toss. They were created using logic. If you apply logic, you'll never have to by heart anything. I say that in the class. The day I introduce 886 subject to students, the first thing I say is, I promise you from now till the last lecture, there is not one word in the book that you have to by heart. Because this subject is all logic. Just follow logic, you'll get answers automatically. So quotient and remainder, quotient is the main part of the answer. Quotient will come in the main register, remainder will come in the leftover register. Please tell me, did you understand this? If you understood this, I want this one by yourself. Come on, make me happy. Come on. Live dx. Dx is how many bits? 16 bits. That means it'll do how many bit by how many bit? 32 bit by 16 bit. Who's your 32 bit register? Dx and ax. It will divide dx ax by dx. Now, when you did 16 bit by 8 bit, you got 8 bit quotient and 8 bit remainder. 32 bit by 16 bit will give you a 16 bit quotient and a 16 bit remainder, which means your full answer is again 32 bits. 32 bits means it will come in dx and ax. Now, the question is, out of dx and ax, who will get the quotient and who will get the remainder? Who is the main register? You got it. So, quotient will come in ax and remainder will come in dx. Please tell me, did you understand this? What is the difference between div and idiv? Idiv is used for signed division, div is used for unsigned division. In my subject CO, for which also I will be making videos, it's a very time consuming process to do this. As and when we get the time out of our classroom lectures, we do it. But anyway, in my subject for CO, I will be making videos for signed division and unsigned division. There are procedures called restoring division and non-restoring division. Non-restoring division works super fast but works only for positive numbers. That means for unsigned numbers. Restoring division is a tad more complex and takes a little more time but handles positive and negative numbers. So it's used for signed division. You don't need to know this. Neither am I showing off. I'm just telling you. I know it's, I'm just telling you. There are different procedures used for dividing signed and unsigned numbers. If you want the correct answer, you have to use the correct instruction. UP doesn't know what these numbers are. You know what your numbers are. You have to use the correct instruction. Anyways, so there's multiply and divide. In Bombay University, this is a very popular question by itself. A 5-mark question. Explain multiply and divide instructions of 8086. Okay? Now, talking about popular questions. A lot of my friends take Viva. I also take a few times, though I like to refrain from the whole college politics, whatever. But
Ayah. Ayah. Wait, guys, I change my earphone first. Hi guys, my earphone is broken. I'm looking for my replacement because if not, I cannot hear what Kelvin asking. I'm looking for it. Guys, while I'm looking for my earphone, you guys continue watch this first because this also will be covered on this session lah. CBW, CWD. You listen to this first, huh?
From all the people that I know who go and take microprocessors Viva oral exam, they have a few questions which they love to ask. This is one of those. They know there are some questions in which the student will falter, especially the ones who do guesswork. Yeah, if you're well prepared and gone, then you answer everything, obviously. But if you've done halfway and you're going to guess the remaining half, you are going to give a rubbish answer in this instruction. So better learn it properly. There is an instruction called CBW. Now CBW stands for convert a pipe to a word. I repeat, convert a pipe to a word. That means convert an 8-bit number to a 16-bit number. Students say, why would a person want to do this? Yes, you got the answer. If you got the answer, I'm proud of you. Come on. I'm putting in so much effort. I need that effort from you too. I told you in division, we do 16-bit by 8-bit. What if I want to do 8-bit divided by 8-bit? Then I would want to make my 8-bit number a 16-bit number. That means I would have to expand it without changing its value. I want to expand it. It's an 8-bit number, means it's a pipe. I want to make it a word. Word means 16 bits. So something like 35. If it was 35, I want to make it 0035. So that's what CBW does for you. It will take an 8-bit number and make it a 16-bit number. Are you so far clear? So suppose, okay, next to CBW, do you see any register written? No, you're not allowed to write. It strictly works only on the accumulator. It's an accumulator-based instruction. Since it works on an 8-bit number and makes it a 16-bit number, that means it will work on AN and will give you the result in AX. I hope you understood that much. Now, suppose AN is 10000011. I'm just taking some random number. In the result, obviously AL will remain the same, but it will become bigger in size. It will become 16 bits. So AH will get the extra part. What will it get? Obviously, all zeros. I told you, if you've not learned this comes as such a big shock in the exam. I've seen students arguing with the examiner, no, it should be zero. It's not zero, it's all ones. Why like that? Because the MSB over here was 1. Look here, let me make you understand the concept of numbers. I've done this in flag register video, but I need to do this part again because otherwise you will not understand this in case you've not seen that video. I have a number 5. The 5 can be either plus 5, can be minus 5. What is plus 5 in binary? 0101. You agree? That's plus 5. Minus 5. Minus 5 is written as the 2's complement of any number. Minus x is 2's complement of x. You know that, right? I've covered all these basics in initial videos. If you've seen them, I'm sure you know it. So it's written in 2's complement form. So 1, you know the shortcut for taking 2's complement, from right hand side, copy the number till you get the first one and then complement everything. So 0 becomes 1, 1 becomes 0, 0 becomes 1. So this is plus 5, this is minus 5. Both of them are 4-bit representations. Are you clear? Now, I want plus 5 as an 8-bit number. Show me plus 5, but as an 8-bit number. There will be 4 extra zeros over here. Show me minus 5 as an 8-bit number. Minus 5 as an 8-bit number means I need to take 2's complement of this number. 2's complement of this number, this part still remains the same. 0 will become 1, 1, 1, 1. You know how to take 2's complement. From right hand side, copy the number till you get this first one. Then complement everything. 0 becomes 1, 1 becomes 0, 0 becomes 1. All these zeros become 1. This was plus 5 as an 8-bit number. This is minus 5 as an 8-bit number. I want plus 5 as a 16-bit number. I'll put 8 extra zeros. Minus 5 as a 16-bit number. 8 extra ones. I think I made my point clear. I hope you understood my point. Just like a positive number has infinite leading zeros. A negative number by nature has infinite leading ones, not zeros, infinite leading ones. So if you ever want to extend a number, how do you extend it? By putting ones or by putting zeros? You check out its MSB. Whatever is the MSB is the natural extension of the number. Are you clear? That is why this number will be extended with zeros, this number will be extended with ones, this number will be extended with ones. Look here, look here, look here. By putting 100 more ones, am I changing the value of the number? No, because the value of a negative number is only found by taking its 2's complement. Are you clear? You don't look at this number and guess its value. You got to take its 2's complement. Take 2's complement. What do you get? 1, 0, 1, 0, 0, 0, 0, 0, 0. Even if I were to put infinite ones, on taking its 2's complement, they all would become 0. So this is 5. That means this number is minus 5. Please tell me, did you understand this? So, if you understood this, then tell me, this number and this number, are they different or are they the same? They're absolutely the same. They're just extended in the correct way. If you want you want to play with this a little more, take a calculator, go into hexadecimal mode, do 0 minus 1. What is 0 minus 1? Minus 1, which means what? FF, like I showed you, it's still there on the board. 0 minus 1 is minus 1, minus 1 is FF. If your calculator is a big size calculator, it will not give you FF, it will give you FF. What is FF? It's all ones because it's the extension of the number. The extension of a positive number is zeros, the extension of a negative number is ones. So, CBW, what does it do? It looks at the MSB and just goes on duplicating the MSB. That's what it does. It doesn't blindly put zeros or blindly put ones. It extends the number using the MSB. That is why it's called the sign extension. This is called as a sign extension of this, which brings us to a very important point. CBW should be used only for signed numbers. Only for signed numbers. If this was an unsigned number, the number is 83. It's not some negative number. You know what is the concept of signed and unsigned. Please check out the flag raise video if you know. So if it's an unsigned number, the number is 83 plus 83, and it should be extended with zeros. If it's a signed number, then that 1 indicates that the number is negative and the number is minus 70. Anyways, my point over here is CBW should be used only for signed numbers. In an unsigned number, even if MSB is 1, the number is positive and must be extended leading 0. So students say, sir, what if I want to extend an unsigned number? Then what do I do? I say again, my friend, don't ask such questions. I will answer everything. I'm teacher, it's my job. As much as I physically can, I answer every question possible asked. But when do you let yourself grow? You cannot rush to somebody for smallest of questions. You got to let your own brain develop. You gave me the answer itself when you asked the question. If you're saying you want to extend an unsigned number means a positive number. A positive number is always extended with zeros. Why would you want a CBW instruction? You will yourself write move AH, 0, and get done with the job. If you know that the number is signed, then the number could be either positive or negative, and then you need a CBW. Then you will look at the MSB and extend the number accordingly. Please tell me, did you understand this? Now, if you did, come on, good, pat yourself in the back if you did, because this is not a silly instruction. It looks very simple, cute, silly instruction, but it's not. So many people make a mess of this during Viva. I hope you understood this. Check it out again, play the video again if you want to. Just get more clear idea of this. Sometimes few things.
Okay, guys. Can you hear my voice? Can someone please speaking so that
Yeah.
I know my...
Can.
I still... it's okay lah. So I will fully focus on my laptop speaker lah. Okay, so now we have watched the video until CWD. So the same concept will be applied to the next extension instructions, but you will know what the extension is instructions later. So now we proceed to our lecture, which is actually the repeating of what the guy Mr. Bharat Acharya told us previously in his video. Okay, so we proceed to the multiplications. So like in the previous video, multiplication, it is done by this instruction, which is MUL for unsigned number, IMUL is for signed number. And then whereas for division, div is for unsigned number, and then idiv is for signed number. Okay, so for the MUL multiplications, these are the things that we need to remember. Like Mr. Bharat Acharya told us just now, whatever product or the result of our multiplication will be stored in this register. Okay, so this is default. Don't ask why, because this is the responsibility of that register. Okay, so this is the default. So the other register will not hold the result of our multiplications. Okay, so for the 8-bit numbers, when we do multiplication for 8-bit number, the result will be stored in AX. Why in AX? Because AX is 16-bit kan? But our number is 8-bit, so why it is 16-bit? Because the multiplication of two 8-bit numbers will become at most 16-bit, like what Mr. Bharat Acharya told us just now. Okay, if you don't understand, it is here, AX. AX is the combination of AH and AL. So when we do any 8-bit number, any multiplication of 8-bit number, it will be stored at the double of its size. Okay, so like when we do multiplication for 8-bit number, the result will be stored at 16-bit register, which is AX. So this is default for 8-bit numbers multiplications. Okay, so for when we do multiplication for 16-bit number, it will be stored in two registers, which is AX and DA, which is AX, meaning the first at 16-bit will be stored at AX, because the result of 16-bit multiplication will resulting in 32 bits multiplication kan. So that's why it use two uh, 16-bit registers, which is AX and DX. Actually, this is DX, do not DA. DX and AX. So when we multiply 16-bit number, it will be stored in two location, which is AX, AX here, and DX here. But the most important bit will be stored at AX lah. Okay, so after that, if we do multiplication for 32 bits number, it will be stored at also two locations, which is EDX and EAX. EDX, this whole location, and then EAX. EAX is 32, and then EDX is 32. So when we do multiplication of 32 bits number, it will be stored at two. I mean the multiplication will be in 64 lah. I mean the result will be stored at the 64 location, which is the combination of two registers. Combination of 32 registers, which is EAX and EDX. Okay, so this is default. The product will be stored here. Okay, so the multiplicand will be in AL, AX, and EAX. Okay, so the syntax is only containing MUL and then only one operand. because um, it when it is when we do the multiplication, it will be default multiplied with its multiplicand here. Okay, so whatever we need later, we only need to um, the syntax is only need us to do this mul with the multiplier, which is here. This is the default, meaning it when the syntax is mul in multiplier, it means that the computer already know that this multiplier will need to be multiplied with this multiplicand al. Okay, so we will see the example in our next slide. So this is the example of when we do multiplications of um, 8-bit number. So as it is mentioned in the previous slide. So this is the previous slide. So this is the default rule. Okay, so for the 8-bit, the result of the multiplication will be stored in AX. So you see here AX. Okay, so whatever stored in AX is actually the result of multiplication from AL and BL. Okay, so this is the formula. AL and BL. AX is the result of multiplication from AL and BL. Okay, so um, the multiplier here is the BL. Okay, so the multiplicand is AL. Okay, so whatever the syntax is only need you to identify the BL lah. Meaning we want to multiply BL, and then the computer already know that this BL should be multiplied with AL. But before that, we also need to specify what is the value in our AL lah. Okay, so this is the way on how we can multiply a 2-bit number. So this is the syntax lah. I can say this is the syntax or the step that you can follow later. But whenever you want to multiply any 8-bit number, first you need to do is you need to specify what is the value inside your AL. After that, you need to specify what is the value in your BL. After that, you only need to multiply the BL because it is the syntax in multiplication of arithmetic in assembly language. Okay, so the computer know that this BL should be multiplied with AL. Okay, so the result of this is 50 lah, 50 hexadecimal because your AL is 5 and then your BL is 10. Okay, so the value is 50 hexadecimal. Okay, so when you put 50 hexadecimal, it is actually only 8-bit. Okay, if you don't believe, so you can go to any online converter. You convert that hexadecimal to binary, and then you see how many bits it can convert. Okay, so if you see here 50 hexadecimal, when we convert to binary, so it will only has 7 bit. So 7 bit is enough to be stored at AL only. Okay, because it is only 50 hexadecimal is only occupied 7 bit. So that's why your AH will have no value lah. I mean, it will not occupy. So that's why it says here the CF is 0 because your AH part is clear, meaning it has no value because 50 hexadecimal only occupy 8 bits in AL. So that means your AH is clear. So when your AH is clear, that means your carry flag is 0. Okay, meaning it has no carry flag in your AH. Okay, understand this part?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay.
What's the CS for?
CF will store if any of the value inside the AX can extend or more than 8 bits.
Oh, so it's just sign.
Yeah. It is storing the sign or the carry flag. The carry flag, you remember carry flag and
Yeah.
overflow flag that we have learned previously? Okay, so later kan guys, because I forgot to record our lecture. So whatever the Mr. Bharat Archaya said just now, you cannot see it, but later I will record again the part of multiplication and division from Mr. Archaya too. So I will share with you guys later. So now I am just recording our sessions. Okay, so after that, we proceed to the second example of multiplication. Okay, so this is another way of doing multiplication. Okay, so previously, we directly put the value to the register, but the second example is you assign the value to a variable. Okay, so this is also another way of doing the multiplication. Okay, so but in this example, we are multiply a 16-bit number, which is it should be stored in DX and AX. Okay, so the syntax or the formula to do the 16-bit multiplications number is this one. The result will be stored at DX and AX, and then you need to multiply or you need to store any value into AX and then any value with any value. Okay, so sorry, it's not this one. It is this one. Okay, so remember when you want to multiply 16-bit number, the product will be stored at DX and AX. So just remember this is DX. Yeah, so this is DX and AX, which means it will be stored in two register. So if you guys can see here, the 16-bit number, when you multiply it, it will be stored in two register, two types of 16-bit register, which is AX and DX. Okay, so this is another way. So first we declare a variable and we put a number inside that variable. So what is 16-bit type or 16-bit size? So we just declare it like this, and then we put a number or a value into our AX. Okay, so by this instruction, we put the value 1 variable into our AX. Okay, so after that, we can just, because multiply only accept one operand, kan? So we can put variable into this operand. Okay, so this is how we can do it. Okay, so we just, but the the rule is you need to put the multiplication instructions immediately after you move the value to the AX. So you cannot have another instruction between these two lines. So you need to put the multiplication instruction right after the first instruction when you move the value 1 into the AX. So you can just multiply it with the value 2. So these instructions or the computer already know that this value 2 must be multiplied with AX. Okay, so this is how you can do multiplication. So when you see here, the value of this multiplication will be this number. Okay, so when we convert this number into binary, it will take up until over than 16 bit. Okay, so if it is over than 16 bit, you this first 16 bit it will stored in AX and then the rest will be stored in DX. Okay, so when DX is having a value, it means that carry flag will carry one value, meaning you have one carry. Okay, so it doesn't matter how much the value inside the dx, as long as the dx is occupied by the result of the multiplication, it means that the carry you have one carry flag. Okay, so that is the rule. Okay, until this understand.
And what's the use for the carry flag?
What the use of this carry flag? um it is actually to help to store any excessive number when your register cannot hold it all. Okay, so it is for the computer to know that your 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 product or the result of your multiplication is over than 16 bit. Okay, in this case is over than 16 bit lah. So if he know that your carry flag is 1, then he know that your result of your multiplication is over than 16 bit, so that it will check the value inside the dx. If this is 0, it will not bother to check the dx part. It only check the ax. Okay.
Okay.
Okay, so we proceed to the another example of how we can do a multiplication. Okay, so this is another example, which is if previously okay, this is actually the same with the first example, but the first example it is used the 8-bit number, but now in the third example it used 32-bit or yeah. Okay, so how we can do this? This is actually like example 1 where we directly put value. We didn't assign any variable, but we directly put the value inside the EAX. Okay, so the format is like this. The result should be stored in EDX and EAX. The first 32-bit should be stored inside EAX part. Okay, so the first 32-bit will be stored in EAX. When there are excessive bit, it will be stored in EDX. Okay, so the this formula, this is the formula. So when we want to do the multiplication, we just like the formula just now, we just put the multiplier to the mul instructions, and then we need to um, we need to, first we need to fill in the EAX registry first, because the formula is like that. We need to multiply any multiplier with the EAX. So we need to fill in the EAX first. After that, we need to fill in the value in the EBX or any um, D word size multiplier lah. So in this case, it used EBX. So e, so after that, we need to just put the multiplication instruction immediately after these instructions, so that the computer know this EBX should be multiplied with EAX, because it is the default instruction in the computer. Computer already stored this information, whereas whatever multiplier here, and then it detects your variable is in 32 bits, so it will directly know that, because it is already predetermined that it will start in EAX. Sorry. It will multiply with EAX. Okay, so we notice that carry flag CF is clear because ADX is equal to 0, meaning when we store this value, it is enough to be stored in EAX. So that's why EDX is clear, so that means CF is 0. Yes, none?
So the EAX can hold uh, any size.
EAX only can hold until 32-bit.
Oh,
So that's why when, like I said previously, when we do 32-bit multiplication, it will be stored into registry, which is EAX and EDX. Okay, so EAX only can hold up until 32. If you remember here, this this diagram. So EAX only can stored up until 32 bits. Okay, so can if the product over 32 bits, it will start in EDX.
understand. When I convert 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 hexadecimal into binary, it's more than 32-bit.
Oh, is it?
Yeah.
EDX. Okay, so we convert this first into binary. So this one is to four add, and then this is 12. This is 16. Okay, so this is 20. Okay, 20, 16.
Eh,
Okay, 20.
my mistake.
Okay, so this is 24. This is 28, 29 saja kan?
Oh yeah.
Okay. I thought I give you ajaran sesat already. Okay, it's okay, Doel. It's good because you are trying it. You're verifying the info that I gave you. Okay, so puas hati lah kan? Because it is only 29 bit. So it is can be stored in EAX.
Okay.
Okay. So we proceed to the sign multiplication, integer multiplication based on Mr. Bharat Archarya just now. Okay, so this is for sign integer that have a negative uh, negative number. Okay, so the IMAL instructions perform sign integer multiplication by preserving the sign of the product. Okay, so there are in the IMAL multiplication there are three operand. I mean they are up until three operand. If previously in the MAL, when we are doing multiplication for unsigned number, it is up until one operand saja kan? Remember? But for IMAL, it can up until three operand. You remember the operand is this one. This one. This is called as operand. After the instruction, it is called the operand. But for the MAL, for the unsigned number, we can only operate at one operand. But for the IMAL, it can be up until three. Okay, so because Mr. Acharya just now he only covered until one operand because he is teaching about x86 processor. Okay, so that's why he only teaching up until one operand saja. But in our syllabus, we will also tell about the two operand and three operand lah. Okay, so in the one operand IMAL instruction format, both the size of the multiplier and the multiplicand are the same, and the product is twice their size. So that's why that's why this formula happen, or yeah, this default when we multiply at bit. Okay, when we multiply at bit, the product will be twice its size. Okay, so this is what it meant by this statement. Okay, so for the processor that for x86 processor and x88 processor, it can only operate the one operand format. Okay, so for the two and three operand, it is can be operated by other than this processor, like what we use now lah. We use the better processor kan. So x86 is the basic processor and x88. So that's why it only can operate up until one operand only. Okay, so so this is the example of sorry, this is not the example lah. This is more on details about IMAL. Okay, so this is IMAL of one operand format stores the product in the accumulator, which is AX, DX, AX, and then EDX and EAX. It is the same with the previous IMAL. Sorry, with the previous MAL. So it stored the value inside AX, DX, AX, and EDX and EAX. Okay, so it is the same. The one operand IMAL is the same with the MAL previously, which is this is the formula lah. IMAL, it will only you can put either register or memory. So the syntax or the value or sorry, the format will be here, which is the result will be stored in AX, and then you need to multiply AL with the memory or any value. So the same with the 16-bit and 32-bit. Yeah,
The
Calvin?
the signed number, does it uh must both the multiplicate and the multiplicand and the must both the numbers be signed number, or can only one be signed number only to use?
Only one pun boleh juga.
Uh,
It doesn't need to be both sign number, because once you have one of your value is in sign number, you already need to use IMAL already, even though one of your value of your variable is in unsigned. Okay, so similar to mal instruction, the storage size of the product makes overflow impossible to one operand IMAL instruction. Okay, so the carry and overflow flag are set if the upper half of the product is not a signed extension of the lower half. Okay, so you can use this information to decide whether to ignore the upper half of the product or not. Okay, so in our example now is the value of this is um, okay, so sorry. In this example, AH is not a sign extension of AL. So sign overflow occur. When sign overflow occur, meaning your OF flag, they are actually in our registers. There are register for flag. If you remember last time, this they are not overflow lah. They are a register that stores a flag. Either it is carry or either it is overflow. So when the IMAL multiplication happen, and then the value is the value inside, for example, this AX kan. Okay, so this AX is is the combination of AH and AL. Okay, so when you open this, when you change this into bit binary, it will only up until at at bit. Okay, so in the AX, if the AH is not occupied, it means that your overflow equal to 1, because when your AH is not occupied, it means that AH is not a signed extension of AL. So it is not occupied kan? So your OF overflow will be 0. Okay, so this is macam opposite with the carry flag just now. So in the IMAL instruction, when your AH is not occupied, it means that it has overflow. Okay, so just remember this formula lah. When when in the IMAL instruction, when your product should be stored in AX, and then you know that AX is actually the combination of AH and AL. So when the product or the result only occupy AL, so it means that AH is not assigned extensions. So therefore, overflow flag will be 1. Okay, so in this example, in the second example, the AH is occupied. Okay, so if we copy paste this, we convert this into binary. So it will be over that 8 bit, which means it AH part is occupied. So when AH part is occupied, it means that overflow flag is 0. Okay, so this is opposite with the carry flag just now. Okay, so in IMAL multiplication, when your when your second part of your register, I mean, whatever the second part, in this case, it is AH lah. Okay, so when it is occupied, meaning your over flag is 0. When your AH is not occupied, meaning your overflow flag will be 1. Okay, just remember that formula lah. Okay, so in two operand format, so you will have two operand. So this is its format lah on how we will do I multiplication. First, you can have in your first operand your register in 16 bit, and then another operand is either register or any value. Okay, so this is the example. This is the 16-bit register, and then this is any value. Okay, so the two operand format truncate the product to the length of the destination. Okay, so it means that if your destination is BX is 16-bit, but if your product is not full until 16-bit, then it will truncate it. Okay, like just now lah, what Mr. Bharat Acharya said, it will occupy that the rest bit yang tidak cukup. Okay, so that is, it means by truncate. Truncate meaning it will fulfill whatever number, so that it will full the register's size. Okay, so if the significant digit are lost, the overflow and carry flag is set. So if for example, if the 16 bit, if you are doing multiplication, I mean, if your product register, I mean, with sorry, if your register only occupied until 16, and then your product is actually over 8, so the overflow and the carry flag will be set lah if your value is over than what your register can occupy. Okay, so in the three operand format, you can see here in your first operand, it can be a register, or it must be a register. If you can see here, it must be a register. Your first operand must be a register. Your second operand must be either register or any number, and then your third operand can be any number. Immediate at meaning any number in 8-bit size. Okay, so the IMAL 3 operand format stores the product in the first operand. Okay, so it will store the product inside the first operand. Okay, so you multiply this with this, and then the result later will be stored in the first operand. So that's why it must be a register here, because a register can store your product or the result of your multiplication. If the significant digit are lost, the overflow and carry flag is set or same like the previous. Okay, so the two operand and the three operand IMAL format may also be used for unsigned multiplication, because the lower half of the product is the same for the signed and unsigned number. Okay, so the disadvantage of this is the carry and overflow flag will not indicate whether the upper half of the product is zero or not. Okay, so the what you need to remember is the two operand and three operand can be applied with the with the unsigned numbers. Previously, we said that the multiplication for unsigned is only one operand, kan? But actually, you can use the same format to operate more than one operand. I mean, you can use this format with the unsigned number. Okay, so you can use actually this format with unsigned number. You just need to change this IMAL to MAL. Okay, so after that, this is the example of how we can do the multiplication in in three operand format. Okay, so this is the example in three operand. You can see here there are register, and then you can put any variable that hold a value that has the same size with this that has the same size with your register lah. Okay, so you can do this. Okay, so the format is only like this lah. You just need to put your register that can hold the result of your multiplications letter here. Okay, so bx, ebx. Okay, so you just remember the first operand must be a register, because this register will store the value of your multiplication. So you would have noticed that EBX is 32-bit, which cannot fit this negative 0000 at 00. So this is too large. So your 32-bit cannot hold this. Therefore, a sign overflow occurs. So that's why there are overflow occur here. Okay, so 30 minutes left. So okay, so this is a review exercise. So when you okay, so the review exercise is what will be the content of AX and DX after the following operation. So if you are opening your Visual Studio now, you can just directly check this, but if not, you can check later. Okay, so you just need to put this code under your data section. So and then after that you check in the register or in the watch to see what is the value of AX and DX. So I have checked. So I have checked for you. Okay, so the value is actually 0. In the AX, it is 0, and in the DX, it is also 0. So to double confirm, you guys can check later lah. And there are another review exercise here. So it needs you to multiply these two numbers and store it in a variable or in a memory. Okay, so you do this exercise later. You can follow the example in page 6 of this lecture. Okay, so tomorrow you tell me or you show me how you do this multiplication. Huh? Okay, guys?
Okay.
Okay, so you try later how to multiply these two number using example in page 6 lah, because it was in the example in the page 6, which is the example number 2. It put the value or the result in variable. Okay, so we proceed to division. Okay, so like previously, division is for unsigned, and then division is for signed. But before that, Farah, can you follow all the lecture because you've been silent since apa? Okay, Kak? Oh, okay. Um. Oh, okay. So same lah with me. I mean my mic is not broken, but my earphone yang broke. Okay. Um. So we use division instruction to perform the division for 8-bit, 16-bit, and 32-bit unsigned integer division. Okay, so this div only for up until 32-bit. We don't know what is the instruction for the over 32-bit. For example, the 64-bit tu kan, we don't know lah, because we only learn the 8086 algorithm. 8086 processor can only operate up until 32-bit. Okay, so the single register or memory operand is the divisor. Okay, so remember the format is div and then divisor. The divisor can be either register or any variable. Okay, so remember the format is only, you just need to specify the div instruction followed with a divisor. Okay, so if you cannot imagine what is a divisor is actually this one, divisor. Only this part should be specified when you do div operation. But of course, before that, you need to put something inside your dividend, the dividend. Okay. So forgive me if I pronounce this wrongly, but I pronounce it like dividend lah. Okay. Okay, so dividend, first of all, you need to specify what is the value inside the dividend. And then when you do the division instruction, just put the divisor with your div instructions. Okay, so this is also whatever specified here, it is also default, meaning it is predetermined inside your computer. Whatever when you do the division, your remainder will be stored in AH part. Okay, so if you imagine here, sorry, not this one. Yeah, this also can be used, and then this one also can be used. Okay, if you see here, this is the default in your processor. When you do the division, you must put something in your dividend, meaning in your dividend you need to specify something so that the computer can directly know what is the value in your dividend lah, because it will divide the value from your AX with whatever you specify in this instruction. Okay, so you need to put something in your AX first lah. Okay, so the remainder will be stored in AH. This is for 8-bit division. Your remainder will be stored in AH. Your quotient will be stored in AL. Okay, so for the most important bit will be stored in AL, and then the remainder is less important info. It will be stored in AH. Okay, so like see Mr. Bharat told us just now, the most important information logically will be put inside AL. Okay, so the less important info will be stored in AH. So that's why it is already uh, predetermined like this. Okay, so you remember lah, divisor is at this part, the dividend is this part, and then the quotient is the hasil darab, and then hasil your result of your division, and then your remainder is the balance, or the balance of your division. Okay, so this is the example on how we do the division of 8-bit number. Okay, so first we need to store dividend value in your AX. Okay, so first we need to put, remember for the 8-bit, the dividend will be stored in AX. So that's why we need to put something in your AX. Okay, so after that, we move this value to your BL. To your BL. Okay, so you just need to you just need to do this instruction, this syntax, if you want to do the division. But it must be your right after this line of code. You cannot put any line between these two for this to operate correctly lah. Okay, so that's why by doing this, you need to follow this structure. By doing this, the computer know that your division instruction will take the value of AX and divide it with the divisor, which is the BL. You specified here is the divisor is the value inside the BL. Okay, so this is how it done. Okay, so when you want to do any multiplication, you just need to follow this code, this way of doing it. Okay, so this is the example of 16-bit unsigned division. So first, you need to put something in your AX also, and then you move something in your your CX is the divisor. You put something in your divisor. So AX, CX, AX, CX. Okay, CX here. The compulsory one is this one, AX, because AX stored your dividend. If you remember here, dividend must be stored in AX. Okay, but this is 16 bit kan, 16 bit, so it can be, your dividend can be stored either in AX, I mean, okay, your 16 bit division, your dividend must be stored in two places, which is AX and DX. That's why your DX now you stored at 0 here, because your AX ni is enough to be stored in AX. So that's why you just need to initialize your DX with 0 if your dividend is not enough to be stored until in the DX. So when you look at this instruction kan, you need to also always refer to this or this formula, because if not, you will not know why is tiba-tiba the dx here, why is we need the x here, because it is specified when you do division, dividend must be stored in this value based on whatever number you store or you want to divide lah. Okay, so the dividend must be larger than value of your divisor, because because dividend must be larger because you want to divide something with smaller kan. Okay, so that's why when you do the 16 bit, you need to store your dividend inside two registers number. And then after that, you put here 0 because your AX is not enough until to need to use the DX value. Okay, so for the CX, this can be actually any register as long as it can hold a 16-bit number. Okay, so this is how you do it lah. Like I said just now, you just need to put the div instruction immediately after you specify whatever you want to put in your divisor and then in your dividend. Okay. Okay, so for the unsigned, for the 32-bit unsigned division, so this is the example. So this example is using variable. You put something in the keyword. Keyword is double value of the divisor. Okay, so just usually for unsigned, your dividend must be larger than your divisor. Okay, so that's why this is in keyword size and then this is in dword size. So first you declare this value first, this variable first. After that, if you refer to our this one. So if you remember, the dividend must be stored inside two register, which is EAX and EDX. Okay, so that's why it put some value in your EDX and EAX here. So in this EAX, the word is 32-bit, and wait first you need to move dividend inside this EDX and EAX. But you guys can see kan here the dividend is in the keyword, meaning double of this. Okay, of course your EDX EAX cannot store keyword directly. So that's why we extract. If you remember, this PTR is the function to extract some value from the variable. So this is keyword. So that's why you extract this size of keyword to put in the EAX. And then another keyword size is put inside EDX because keyword is 64-bit number. So this is actually 64-bit number. Okay, so this is 32-bit number. So that's why EAX is only can hold 32-bit, and then another 32-bit should be stored in EDX. Okay, so that's why first you need to put, or you need to extract the 32-bit from keyword, from this dividend, and put it in EAX, and then another keyword size from this dividend to EDX. So after that, baru we can do the division operation. We cannot directly put the keyword inside EAX or EDX because the keyword is very large. So that's why we need to extract it. Why we put 4 here? If you remember last time we have learned about getting the value using the offset. So this is how it do, or how it get the high double word. So in the AX, it only extract the low double word. So low and high itu, the lower double word is meaning the value. For this one, it is the double word meaning 32-bit kan. So the rightmost 32-bit will be stored in EAX, and then the leftmost 32-bit it will be stored at EDX. So this is dia punya syntax on how to get the leftmost 32-bit to be stored in EDX. Okay, so later your product of your division will be stored also in EAX and EDX. In EDX, it will store the remainder. If you remember here, the remainder will be stored in EDX, and then the quotient will be stored in EAX. Okay, so when you do the division letter, it will replace the value that we previously put it. It will replace the dividend that we previously assigned to EDX and EAX, and it will replace it with the value of quotient and then your remainder in your EAX and in your EDX. Okay, so I hope you guys can still follow. So we proceed to signed integer division. Previously, it is unsigned. Okay, so it is nearly identical to unsigned division. Okay, so this is nearly identical. So the operation that we have learned in div previously, it is similar with the assigned integer, but one important difference, only one important difference, which is the implied dividend must be fully sign extended before the division takes place. Okay, so the difference is your dividend must be fully unsigned. Sorry, fully sign extended, meaning we will see in our next slide lah. Yes, when your dividend value must be fully sign extended, meaning if it is when your value is only can occupied up until when your dividend is actually uh, only up until 16 bit, meaning it only stored AX value, but you need to fully extend it. Sorry ya, mana? Okay, when you want to do division with 32 bit, divide with the sorry lah, bukan 32 bit lah. When you want to do division between 16 bit and 8-bit divisor, it means that your dividend must be in 16-bit kan? Okay, so but when your number or the value in your dividend up until 8 bits only, so you need to fully extend your dividend until it reach 16 bit, but it is based on the sign of your dividend lah. If your dividend is positive, then you need to put a 0, and when your dividend is negative, you need to put 1 lah. Okay, so if you guys remember about CBW, CWD, and then CDQ. So these instructions is meant to put or meant to extend your dividend based on whatever sign your dividend has. Okay, so this CW will convert byte to word. Okay, so if you want to extend your byte until become 16 bit, which is word, so you need to use CW sign, as in CW instruction. So if you want to convert your 16 bit to 32 bit, then you need to use CWD. Okay, so if you want to convert double word or your 32 bit to 64 bit, you need to use instruction CDQ. So how to use this? Only just put that instruction under right after the value that you want to extend lah. Okay, so let's say this example, you want to extend the sign bit of AL into AH, receiving the number sign. So the example here, you put the byte value variable here, it hold -101. Okay, so first you assign this value to AL first, and then you want to extend its value to AH kan. So if you guys can see here, this S byte you put in here, but you want to make this value until AH lah. You want to extend it until it becomes 16 bit. So that's why you need to extend it until it can occupy AH part here. So because this is negative, so your value in the AH should be all, if you remember, if we put this, if we convert this into binary, decimal to binary, so it can become this one. So if you can see, this one is only 7 bit. So you want to extend, so I mean this only can occupy AL. This only can occupy AL. And then we want to extend it to until it can occupy AH. So we need to extend it using CW lah. Just put this instruction immediately after this instruction. You cannot put any instruction between these two. Okay, so that's why by this instruction you can occupy the AH with with 1 1 1 1 1, which is negative sign, kan? If you remember, 1 for negative, 0 for positive. Okay, so if you put it like this, meaning in the AH letter, because this is negative, so in the AH letter, it will all occupied by 1 1 1 1 1 1. Okay? Understand this part?
This one only for CBW, only for the sign number.
Yeah. So see, all of this CW, CBW ni, all of this is only for sign number.
So if for the positive number,
Positive number, you don't need this because positive number, computer already know it is all should be 0000. Then it will automatically fill in whatever left. For example, you have positive number or sign number already occupied this can. So if I remember last time we already learn on how we extend this. We extend unsigned number. If you remember in our last lecture, last lecture 8, if I'm not mistaken, for when we want to occupy or fulfill the empty bits, we can use, there's one instruction too, but I forgot actually. So later I will share with you guys if I find lah. But my point is, this all only used for sign number. Okay? Because computer or yeah. So this is only used for sign number.
okay.
Because all of this instruction can first it will need zero. But for this, that's why it has its own instruction, because this instruction will check first either your sign number two it is positive or negative. Okay, so similar with the CWD, but CWD will extend the 16 bit into 32 bit. So it also have you just need to put something like this, okay, x to the x, meaning I haven't shared this picture to you guys, can? So I will share later because I think this picture is helping a lot. So let's say this one. S word is 16-bit. So 16-bit is AX. So you want to extend it to DX because usually AX and DX lah. When you extend it to DX, you will just put it like this lah. CWD. Just put it immediately after you already assign this variable into this register. Okay, so the same with the CDQ lah. But whatever it is, you need to know what is your, when you, the most important thing here kan, the concept is the same, CBW, CWD, and then CDQ. The concept is all the same. You just need to put the instruction right after you declare or you assign that value to that register. But what you have to understand is your Nina, your declaration of your variable. Because if you wrongly declare it and you put it at the wrong place of register, it will cause error. Because your register cannot store something that not in its size. Okay, so just follow this example letter when you want to convert any of these value lah, if you want to use that letter. Okay, so because it is 4 p.m. already, so we will continue this in our next session. Okay, guys. So don't forget to try the page page 14. So I want to see your program tomorrow lah. How to multiply this by this, huh? Remember page 14, huh? Okay. Okay, Kelvin?
Okay.
Okay. So I just want to remind for this course, it is like similar like mathematics punya course. You cannot just understand it by just looking and listening. You need to do the practice. Because if you didn't do the practice kan, it's very hard to remember too, and it's very hard to understand. So I hope you guys can play around with your Visual Studio, and then you also need to do some of your own research. If you don't understand kan, you do your own research first, because there are a lot of resources out there. You can go to the the tutorial part 2. Wait, the tutorial point. You can go here, you can try all of its instructions here. Okay, so this page is, I think it is complete about assembly language. Okay, so don't only depends on whatever in our slide lah, because I can say that our slide is very general. It is not telling why. It is only telling what and how. Okay, because for me to understand our slide pun kan, I have to find a lot of research. I need to go YouTube. I need to subscribe Mr. Bharat Acharya punya website for me to understand, because our slide memang it's not it is very general. So you guys need to try this. It is really helpful when you do your own research, because I cannot tell all, because this course is memang it is very very big topic. There's a lot you need to understand. There's a lot you need to discover by yourself, because our session 2 hours ni it's not enough to cover all. Okay. Yeah. Okay. So Noel agree. Okay. This course is actually really interesting. When I go through the apa kan the lesson by Mr. Bharat Acharya itu, it is very interesting, but it's very confusing if we didn't do practical. Okay, so I hope you guys. I will record whatever that I forgot to record just now, and share with you guys in our Google Classroom. Okay, so see you tomorrow, guys.
Okay. Thank you.
Okay, bye.